Hi there, my name is Diana McIsaac, and this is my presentation. Hi there, my name is Diana McIsaac, and this is my presentation. So, an introduction to the topic. Community safety and well-being plans mandated under Part 11 of the Police Services Act place much of the responsibility for community safety and well-being to the municipality, using the police as only one resource by which community safety and well-being can be enhanced and maintained. Two types of plans include social development and incident response. Social development, prompting and maintaining community safety and well-being. Here are some of the main characteristics. It requires long-term efforts, so it's not a short-term solution, and requires a lot more planning. It's a multidisciplinary intervention and expertise. So it pools the knowledge and resources from multiple sources in order to combat complex issues. There's an intent to improve social determinants of health, conditions in which people are born, they grow, they work, and they live. These can include quality housing, education, early childhood development, and it helps reduce victimization. So the goal is to ensure all community members are safe, healthy, and educated. And again, this reduces the likelihood of them being victimized. It attacks the root cause of crime and social disorder, so it uses a proactive approach by attempting to solve the problem of crime before it even occurs. So here's a short clip. Unfortunately, I'm unable to play it while I'm recording, but I will add it in after. So this specific video is a very good example of multidisciplinaries coming together to work as a team to solve a common goal, complicated enough to require an array of services and their expertise. So Sir Michael, his quote was, "Inequalities in power, money, and resources give rise to inequalities in the conditions of daily life, which in turn leads to inequalities in health." So Sir Michael is a professor of epidemiology and a world-leading expert on social determinants of health and has been vital in research towards community safety and well-being planning. So incident response. This is an immediate response to an urgent incident. So some of the main characteristics. It's a traditional idea of crime and safety. So what people think of when they think of crime prevention. It utilizes immediate and reaction-based responses, so obviously a reactive approach rather than a proactive approach. It relies really heavily on police enforcement because police are typically the ones who respond to emergency incidents. It involves other teams that can take the workload away from officers. So the goal is to use other services like mental health workers and social workers to handle cases that don't require the police. Here's another video, just a little blurb about it that I will add in after. But this is a really good example of a specialized team used for emergency response and incident response to help keep communities safe during times of crisis. So another quote here from Don Brown. An incident is just the tip of an iceberg. It's a sign of a much larger problem below the surface. So Don Brown has no significance towards police governance, but he provides a nice little quote to symbolize how small-scale incidents require a small-scale incident response is in comparison to the greater issue of crime prevention and community well-being. So here's a little bit of a comparison. And what will succeed? Will it be social development or incident response? So social development requires long-term efforts in order to succeed. It focuses on a proactive approach to root causes. That the list is extensive and it's really complex. It relies on the assistance of multiple sources. Where incident response is a short-term solution. It's very reaction-based. There's really no proactive planning. The enforcement dominated, which puts strain on police-civilian relationships, and police services have too heavy of a workload. The incident response is a bit more realistic because you know it works and know that incident response is required and very useful for community safety, but it won't ever succeed simply because it is a reaction-based response and therefore only waits for basically bad things to happen, which is not a very successful model for community safety and well-being, where the social development I would say is more likely to succeed because it focuses on the long-term operation and operates based on organized planning and execution of complex problem-solving solutions. It may be considered a bit less realistic, let's say, because it relies on a proactive approach that attacks the root cause of crime, which can be a bit more difficult when there's so many multi-layered factors. So that is my presentation. Thank you so much for listening.